Namaste and welcome everybody. My name is Pooja and I'm a Mohanji Acharya from Canada.
Hello everyone, this is Nimika. I'm a Mohanji Acharya as well, and I'm from Finland.
Today, Nimika and I are going to have a conversation with a fellow Acharya, Dragan from Serbia. We are going to travel with Dragan on his journey towards finding Mohanji, his coming out story, his self acceptance, and finding purpose by being Mohanji Acharya. Please join me in welcoming Dragan. Hi, Dragan.
Hey, namaste.
Namaste.
It's so good to see you. My name is Dragan. I'm coming from Serbia. And I'm also a Mohanji Acharya. In my daily life, I'm also a salesperson, a son, brother, uncle, friend. So basically, I play many roles to many different people. But mostly people remember me by my positive attitude and always having something positive and to say and with a smile.
Your smile is really lovely.
Thank you.
Okay, so Dragan, if you could walk us through a little bit about your childhood and to help us understand if you were spiritually inclined in your childhood.
Well, not to say spiritually, I grew up in a Orthodox Catholic and Roman Catholic household. But predominantly, that was the religion of my mother, that is Catholic. We went to church, we went there, and for me, the best part of the going to church was the Christmas time, Christmas Eve, when there was that beautiful devotional songs toward Jesus, a song that is the time when I felt the best. Also, through my childhood, there were points in time that I had that clairvoyance and would be able to say certain things or explain certain things that I couldn't possibly see or hear or know. So, also seeing certain entities, certain things happening around me that weren't physically there was something that would sometimes terrified, especially my mother, because that is something that she believed there is a God, even if he is small as a mouse, he still exists. But she couldn't wrap her mind around things that I was able to do, to see, to understand. So it's something, yeah, he can do it, but I don't know how to deal it. So she would just push it under the carpet, to say so. And basically, that is something that always was happening. That part of me, that some part of me that had that um, deeper connection to the world around me was somehow always pushed aside, and something that was never truly acknowledged, because uh, basically my parents didn't know how to address it. They didn't have the skills or knowledge to address it and how to help me. So they just left it be and put it for some other time. Maybe I will figure it out on my own.
Okay, so could you tell us something about your journey with Mohanji? How it so happened that you met Mohanji and you became so spiritual?
Well, being so spiritual, actually, it's not something that is odd for me, because it happened throughout my entire life. Basically, I used to escape into that imaginary world that is usually the science fiction or the fantasy novels and whatnot. I would go into that and I would escape from the reality outside. And also in those literature, I would find deeper answers of what I felt was right. For me, being spiritual and spirituality and even connecting to God is something that should always be free, something that is given, something that is delivered, and not something that is being taught to you, and then you have to live that way, and then the person that taught you would not respect it or wouldn't live that way, and that would be a huge disappointment. So certain things were guiding me that spirituality and spiritual journey should be free. I knew that from the earliest childhood, even when I did clairvoyance for people, or looking into the cup of coffee, like looking into the tea leaves, the same thing but with coffee. I would do it free of cost because it's something that I would do for somebody. It's for free. It's something that you give. It's something that is given. It's something that is there. It should be free. And basically, why should I be paying for something for my entrance in the heaven if I don't deserve it? Because that is something that you can't pay for. Because if you pay certain amount, all your sins are forgiven. So for me, my spiritual journey was having that deep understanding and having that deep inclination of certain truth and certain pillars that spirituality needs to be on. It should never interfere with your own free will and whatnot. So my journey was very complicated, especially being somebody who is very feminine, who is basically, if you see as a child, you would see a little girl, and everybody around me knew who I was before even I knew it. And it's something that actually the spirituality and that my deep inclination towards that something that is not visible, that is not couldn't be perceived with our five senses, was something that was really helping me go through all the phases, all the stages of life, even through bullying, even through um, my illnesses, even through everything. It just helped me. And then when I was finally ready, actually, Master presents himself, and uh, he appeared in my life very, to say late in my life. That was like 9 years ago in 2011. And all the way through that, most of my life was helping me getting to terms with who I am, knowing myself, and having those bits and pieces of information that I needed to really evolve as a human and also evolve as a spiritual person, even if that is going through certain experiences, going through certain trainings, learning certain new things about life itself was helping me. The beautiful thing that I read in one of the science fiction novels was there is a group of wandering people, and their religion was based on the path of the leaf, and that means that they move like a leaf. The leaf just grows on the tree and it's there. And when it's time to fall, it will fall. It will dry out and it will fall. And also when it is torn away from the tree, it won't be having any guilt or revenge or anger towards the person that hurt him. So that deep pacifism within me, not hurting others, was very deep and very strong. So certain things about spirituality were very important for me. So that is, it should be free, it should be non-violence, it should be with a deeper understanding and deeper meaning of life.
So how did you get connected then to Mohanji? Because if just based on our conversation, I know you have mentioned you're probably one of the first person to get connected to Mohanji in Serbia, and you have consistently been volunteering as well. So would you like to share a little bit journey about Mohanji and how what about Mohanji attracted you and you decided to follow him as a guru?
Well, basically, because of my previous journey, I was interacting with a lot of people that were in pagan, in witchcraft and whatnot. And basically, I had skills and knowledge that they had to go through um, certain initiation, had to pay certain amounts, had to pay certain course or go to certain places and do certain things or services. So they would get in part with the knowledge or get initiation. And basically, I knew them. I had them on my palm, and basically, I had too much contact of the people who were in that fake religion, fake spirituality. Everything was like just to get money from the people and basically give them some crumbs of the knowledge or something a little bit extra just to entertain their mind. And so I was lucky enough for so many of those things to be removed from my path, and I couldn't be more blessed for that. And also, there was a deep fear of being used, especially when the guided meditation was in question. And basically, my friend, who was my boss at while I was in civil army, um, civil service of army. She actually, when I finished civil service, we became actually good, very good friends, and had a beautiful friendship. And she invited me for the there is a group guided meditation. You will love it. It's about India and it's about spirituality, and you have to come with me. And I was like, all the red signs were there. It's free of cost, and it's spirituality, it's guided meditation, and there is nothing for you to worry. And I was like, okay, I'm coming with you to save you, to protect you from yourself, because I know you need this, and to find a way to stabilize yourself. But guided meditation without, and there was a friend of mine that tell me about it, but she's not coming or whatnot. And I was like, okay, I'll just go to drag you out because you need protection. And then there were a few signs that actually showed me that I should be there. And first of them, when we actually met at a place where the meditation was supposed to happen, I asked her, "So where is your best friend Hannah?" And she was like, "Why? Well, this is India meditation. She's all into that. You know her for half of your life. Why didn't you call her?" And she was like, "Well, the first person that came to my mind was you. I didn't thought of anybody else." And I was like, "Just me, and you barely know me for just over a year. Okay, well, there is something to it." Then we just sat down and we were introduced what will happen. And then the pregnant woman just came in, and I was like, okay. And that was Debbie at the time, 2011. She was pregnant all the way to her teeth. And she was like so happy, and so everything is like nice. Everything that she says actually uh, checked on my checklist how spirituality should be, and actually it filled it perfectly. And I was like, okay, if this is something that is on a negative side, I'm so sorry for this lady and for her child. And basically, we had the preparation for the meditation that we all know, for the power of purity meditation. And I went through it. Okay, it's good breathing exercise, nothing new for me. And then the meditation started, and I was like, I just had to open my eyes. It's recorded, but it's the same voice. uh, I didn't realize that it was recorded by the same person. And I was like, oh, she's sitting firm upright and closed her with closed mouth, and the meditation was basically in her voice. I was okay, well, let's see. So then I started following meditation, and the meditation actually starts with that beautiful affirmation of gratitude towards your parents, towards God, to whatever. And I just clicked on it because it was positive affirmations. And for the first 10-15 minutes of the meditation, I was very guarded. But then the next line of positive affirmations just showered on, and I just went in. And basically, I went in much more deeper than ever before. And finally, I was feeling something really clicking out of me, like bubbles from the water, just coming out to the surface and just leaving me. And it was like bliss. And I was said, this is something that I have to book my schedule every single time that is happening. And that was the time when the Power of Purity meditation started in Novi Sad, to be happening regularly on Thursdays nights. So basically, I turned my life upside down so I can attend every single meditation with Power of Purity. And within few weeks of me getting there, I just started helping with arranging the chairs, and that was something normal for me. Even when I get to the friend's house for the first time, I will help with cooking coffee and everything. That was something that was very me, very spontaneous, to help. And no, you're here for the meditation, sit. And I was like, oh, it's no problem. I came earlier so I can help arrange the chairs and everything. So for me, serving and helping was very natural. And then the announcement of Mohanji's coming um, was something that was like very so happy, and everybody was so excited. And I was like, really, you are excited for some man coming? Yeah, the meditation is great, but really, somebody will teach you about spirituality? Like, I want to see that. But okay, maybe somebody has the knowledge of the different background, because I'm grew up in the Christianity different background. Maybe that will help me understand who I am and help me on my path. So okay, fine. And then I had the entire 7 days before the event, I was dreaming, even waking, dreaming and dreaming. Really, I had a beautiful conversation on a beautiful cushions in a tent with a huge man with a huge beard, and we were drinking, sipping tea, and my cup was always empty. Somehow, I just come to my cup and it's empty. Oh, how come empty? Just time just went so fast, and I got so many answers in my dreams and in that communion, but I couldn't retain any of them in the real life. I couldn't even remember them, but I knew I had every answer answered and fulfilled. And I was so okay. So I was preparing with my list of questions. I wrote them down, and somehow I couldn't put them out of my bag for the satsang, the first meeting with the Mohanji. And I was like, okay, everybody is so excited, and okay, don't be excited. He's just coming, and we will have beautiful discussion about spirituality. That's wonderful. And basically, I could feel every single step of his from coming out of the car, every single step, because there is a huge entrance hall that you have to go to the room of the meditation. And I could feel every single step, because something deep inside me was struggling and is trying to stay within me, but it was pushed out. Basically, when I saw Mohanji's foot stepping into the over the threshold, that something just went out of me and was slammed vigorously against the back wall, and it could never come back into me after that moment. And basically, I could see just his foot, and with that dhoti and whatever he was wearing. And then he just smiled and he said hello to everybody, and his Serbian was so cute, just saying bravo. So it was like so fun, and everybody laughed. And then we did the meditation, and then we had the answers Q&A with him. And basically, my hand just went up, and I just questions, and I just stood up, and I know perfectly English. I practiced it, and how can we get rid of fear? And I just sat down. I didn't know how I said the word fear. I had huge elaborated question, and fear was not even on my list of questions. I was like, fear, I just said fear. How did I just say this? And she just smiled. Oh, that's an excellent question to start with. And he started answering, and he answered the entire list that I have prepared. But with every single answer he gave, I had thousand more questions coming up. And basically, the entire satsang turned into his Q&A with me, and few other people actually asked basic questions like placement of palms and why do we do chin mudra. And I was like, that's boring. Please ask something relevant and something that he actually clarified right now. And there is a ton of questions. So basically, tons and tons of questions, and I got every single answer, and I was so ecstatic. And then the first Shaktipat with him, and he just said, oh, I just work on your fears. It's okay. And I was like, fears? I have no fear. I have ton of anger. What fears? And I after that, I was just so light, and then the energy just hit me, and I just had to sit down to clear my head. So that first meeting was amazing, and it took me a little longer while with Q&As and to say testing and confirming that he is the right guru for me, that he is the right teacher, that he is the real one, and not some fake that I had unfortunate pleasure to meet and learn about in my previous years of life.
That's really good. Good to know about it. Would you like to let us know something about your coming out story? Because you said that since childhood you used to behave something more like a girl. So would you like to?
Yeah, well, well, there is a funny story. Actually, I learned it in my late 20s. because I was every winter or every coming winter and every time when spring was coming, I was hospitalized due to the asthma. And basically, because I was such a late bloomer, um, basically I started shifting my voice when I was 15 and not at 11, 12, at 15 years. So a doctor that saw me and saw the way was interacting with the nurses and with everybody else, my knowledge and my interests were intrigued him, and he actually asked for the test that was uh, without of the approval of the parents. And he actually tested my hormonal state and my DNA. So he had a better knowledge why is this happening, and then he had a conversation with my parents, uh, um, and that basically he thought that maybe I was an intersex person because maybe my hormones are in disbalance, and maybe they, there should be a talk about me converting into being a girl. And uh, that was very interesting for me because the finding was that basically on the book paper I was like a perfect school example of how one adult male should be with the hormones, with everything, perfect male, but my behavior was totally different. And basically everybody who knew me from the early childhood would see a little girl and would know what I was even before I had the knowledge of it. And me it took me a very long time to accept that I'm a homosexual, and even to say it out loud to myself, because the word that would describe homosexual in Serbian language is also used as a huge derivative word that is commonly used for somebody who is a low life backstabber, who will betray you, who will destroy you, who is not a good friend, basically. And I always wanted to be a really good, and that was very confusing. And then as I learned that it is two different things, it took me a very long time to really say it out loud. I said it to myself when I was 16, going on 17. I finally told myself I'm a homosexual and I'm gay. And it was very hard and emotional thing for me to actually say it out loud. It was so huge. And then basically two of my then best friends, after and going out, they would just present me in front of them, and okay, we know what you are, so just say it out loud so we just finish off with it, because we can see what you are. You're not looking for a girl, you're not doing this, you're not doing anything about your uh, love life. There, it is not existent, and you never talk about it, so just admit that you are homosexual. So, well, yes, I am homosexual. Well, good, now we can continue with our lives. And basically then what happened is actually, how will I say to my family? Um, there was that huge fear of being rejected and being the only one in there, because I didn't know any gay people around me. Actually, I met one, but that person was leave me alone. I don't want anybody to know about me, and I don't want to discuss about my struggles of life and everything to a complete stranger. So I was like, okay. So I'm like the only gay person here beside this guy, and I was like, okay, what can you do? And then my friend actually helped me to come out to my brother. And basically, every single member of my family said the exact words that I knew they are going to say. For example, I came out to my brother, I was 18, and he was 17. And he said, okay, people like you, homosexual, I would beat if somebody comes to me, but you are my brother, and I wouldn't allow a hair to fall off your head. Whomever does that, he will have to respond to me. And I was like, oh, good. He said exactly the words that I knew he was going to say. My sister said, for me, that is sickness, and that is something that has to be treated of. And basically, that is something that I grew up with, and I knew that this is her standpoint, her viewpoint, and that viewpoint is not changed a little bit. My mother was so to say in shock, because I was doing her hairdo. Actually, she just was, and I was drying her hair, and she just so you like boys better, and I was like, yeah, I like boys. And then she was like in silence, and then completely in silence, and she went to watch the soap show on the TV with her mother, and she didn't spoke to me until tomorrow. And she was like so um, full of like trying to put guilt on me. Am I such a bad mother that you couldn't tell it to me? Like, uh, what did I say that you couldn't come to me and not talk to me about anything? And I was like, so what if I come home and I just say, hey, mom, what's for lunch? And by the way, I'm gay. How would that feel? And she was like in shock because I hit her back with a uh, scenario that is very shocking. And she was like, well, you're right. And then I asked her, did you even notice or had a doubt that I might be? And she said, well, yes, but I was waiting for you to tell it. And I was like, okay. And for my father, it was like, oh, just don't say it to your father. He won't accept it. And it was like very hard. And basically, my father actually accepted me fully for who I am and what I am. Because finally, my father and I had a beautiful discussion when I was 30 about so many things in life. I finally could express and talk to him about what he missed with both of his sons, and where his support was very needed, and where I needed him as a father, male role in my life to really help me about certain things coming up as a man and becoming a man and not being a boy. And uh, so basically, we had that understanding, and I get full acceptance of who I am, and full do with your life as you want and be happy. While from my mother, I have that acceptance, but you're my son, and I want to be a good mother. So this is how I accept you because you're my child, and I love my children equally. So and also basically before even coming out to my family, I came out to my most of my friends because I finally had gay friends at that time, and came out to my workplace. It was very spontaneous thing to just say out loud. If I was asked, I would just say it directly. Oh, I'm going to see my boyfriend. I wouldn't say I was going to see my girlfriend. No, I would just say the things as it is, because why should I hide? Why should I hide a huge part of who I am? Because it is the same as the color of my eyes. It's there. And a lot of that suppression of denying and expressing of who I am was making that bullying around me and people noticing my sexuality more, because it would just come out. "Ah, it would be like obvious, and then I would be like butching it up, and then again there was certain gesture that would be screaming homosexual. And as soon as I dropped the act of straight, my life became much more normal, much more easier, and people that were bullying or would put an evil eye on me would accept the way I am expressing in the world. And this is, oh, this is that neighbor, and he's talking like that, he's moving like that, and that's fine. So becoming more and more natural and who I am without of hiding who I was actually helped me a lot in my life, and also it translated into the spiritual journey of being natural and accepting yourself.
Thank you so much, Dragan, for sharing that. Um, you touched upon talking about self acceptance. So did you find because self acceptance is a journey that all of us are traveling when we are traveling on this spiritual path. So did you find that after meeting Mohanji and even coming out to the society, did you find the self acceptance before, or did you find that Mohanji helped you with self acceptance after?
Actually, I had a lot of self acceptance, but it was so closeted, to say closeted, and divided into certain areas. And basically, what I did throughout my life, on my journey of coming out and also my spiritual journey, I had to break certain boundaries. And basically, whenever I was pushed into the corner of being sick, of always being sick and tired, actually, that is when I burst out. And basically, that is something that every single person that is having that burden of suppression will actually react like that. And you can see that in many young homosexuals and LGBT people because of suppressing for 15, 20 years of who they are. It just screams out back to the society by, I'm here, I'm proud, and whatnot. But for me, because this happened gradually, and by moving my boundaries, I wasn't so much in your face. I was much more of that with a person that I really need them to know and to have that conversation of who I really was in my full terms. But that accepting of who I am actually started fully when I actually realized and accepted that I was full of rage, full of anger that is toxic. And through my work that I did as a, to say, light worker or somebody who was in that waters, was disturbed by this. And so I needed to accept that I have a lot of anger and too much of anger. And basically, what I did is I had to shut myself out of everything to go within and to accept this anger because I was, well, um, I'm doing a huge detour because my journey, my true spiritual journey and journey towards Mohanji started when I accepted that there is a lot of anger with me. But it wasn't easy because I had this huge conversation and huge communions with the masters on astral planes. And then I was bickering and moaning and I was screaming out of them because I knew what I can do and I can do so much good, but because of this anger, I can hurt so many people. And they were telling me, just let it go. And I was like, how can you let go? It will kill somebody. It destroy somebody if it's not under control, because I would bottle up all my emotions by and all the standards that I had through anger. And I just said, you have no idea what I'm going through and you don't know anything. It was funny now that looking at it, but it was a huge drama for me at that time. And then I just shut down. And then when I was ready, back in 2007, I was finally ready to start shedding all of that anger within me and all the wrong things that I did, because I finally was ready to go and to accept myself. And basically, so many things happened in my life. Beautiful group of support for young gay men and self-support happened, and it was free of cost. And it actually helped me learn about the difference between sex, sexuality, and gender. And when I learned that, it just actually spread my awareness so much more, and I started growing in that accepting and knowing all the levels of who I am and what I am, because I don't know something, just dip my finger in it. I just go into it fully. And it was a process. It just went so far to the moment that I had like, I need help to let all of this go, but I needed those and somebody who will help me. And um, when I was finally ready, all of those things, all of those lessons of life, certain courses that came into my life helped me actually reach to Mohanji and be ready to meet the master and accept all of the things that society provided me with for what it is. It is just a huge joke. Don't take it personally. And then the true acceptance of me started actually much more before Mohanji, but really working and drilling deep inside of yourself started with Mohanji, because finally I had somebody to have ask a question and get a full answer and with full clarity and with such a precision that you will understand it on every single level that you need on every single phase of your life with just one answer. And that is the beauty of masters, that they just give, but they don't give just small thing, they give as much as you can take. If you bring a small cup, they will fill the cup. If you bring the huge barrel, it will be filled. So this is happening with Mohanji, and my deep acceptance started with him. And also the situation that happened to me pushed me out of my comfort zones. And basically, when you meet a master, so many things happens at once, and so many boundaries are being breaked, and you have to go out of them. You just can't be in the comfort zone. So in that way, my full acceptance of me started uh, back in 2007, uh, fully, and really started exponentially growing much more faster when I met Mohanji. All the way to this day, I'm still, there are certain aspects of me that I need to accept, and certain things that I'm still working on myself to really go over them and to be much more me, to be natural, as Mohanji have said it so many times. Be natural, be you. You are the unique uh, flavor in this world. So that is something that I needed to accept, and also certain parts of myself that I couldn't accept and was struggling, and still am struggling, are still there to be worked on. So a lot of acceptance uh, started happening much more faster with Mohanji in my life.
That's really great to know. I think self-acceptance is something that we all need to be aware of for each one of us. Now, moving on to my next question, I would like to let you know that what made you so much interested to become a Mohanji Acharya. I know that you are one of the first persons in Serbia who is with Mohanji from the time when he started. Uh, but what inspired you to become a Mohanji Acharya?
Well, nothing inspired me because it was just another feather in the hat to say for me. I saw it as another feather in a hat for so many people, because being so long with Mohanji and being able to see so many people come and go and come back again was a beautiful thing. And it's a beautiful place to be when you are with Mohanji and when you are with a spiritual master. When you connect fully, because I was just testing and I was coming from that uncertainty. And then when I connected fully, and I said, this is me, this is my master, I'm here. Through fire, through flame, through ice, I'm here. And there were struggles, and so many people were pushing into the first rows and trying to do volunteering and will do everything for the guru and whatnot. And I was like, seeing the same, all of those people were doing that while Mohanji was there. And when he is not in Serbia, they don't do anything. And I started volunteering basically back in 2011, when I was helping arranging the chair. Also, the first, actually, I was there on the first retreat with Mohanji, where I met so many beautiful, beautiful people from abroad. To say, um, also on the second retreat that was on Antalya, that is the first retreat on Antalya, that was much more bigger. I was there also helping, doing what needed to be done, also giving the ability to the people to really have time with Mohanji without of those struggles that they would have, even helping with the arranging the chair, helping with the distribution of the water therapy. And I was helping, I was there with the music, everything. I was there to help, and I wanted to help. And basically, on the second retreat, actually, I was asked, would you like to help doing a small part? And beside that small part, actually, I did again a huge thing, volunteering. And it's something that came much so natural for me to help, to make sure that everybody is really enjoying their time there, and really have the best possible experience, not just on the retreat, also on meditation and everything. So it's something natural for me. Even when going, as I said earlier, even when I'm going to a friend's house for the first time, I will be there to help cooking the coffee, setting the table, whatever needed to be done, I was there to help. So for me, that's something natural and spontaneous. And basically, the thought of I want to be a volunteer in Mohanji Foundation Serbia, um, finally present itself when I actually got a job to assignment to do on a retreat with Mohanji. Uh, and then it was thrown into my lap. I want some real responsibility. I want to take a bigger role and not just help once a year. And in 2015, I was initiated into consciousness kriya, and basically from the initiation, I was dropped in my lap. Oh, by the way, next to all the things that you do, can you be the person that will be coordinating for kriya for just a little bit while Monica was able to travel and do certain things. She couldn't really commit to it. And okay, sure, I will help, no problem. And basically, I was Kriya coordinator all the way till this year. Because in 2017 I got the role of the global Maitri coordinator in Maitri method, um, globally and also for the local team. Then it was so much work. And basically, when you ask, I want to volunteer, there will be work for you, a lot of work, but be prepared to work for it. And while having all of those contacts and whatnot, Mohanji just, and at a retreat, he was just mentioning he was doing this and this person did that and that person did it. And for the first time on the retreat, I didn't had a role to do. And he just called my name. Oh, and I hear Dragan is doing a beautiful work on a global level. And I was like, what global level? I'm not doing anything. And basically being available to answer on the message in the group, and having communication with the people that stayed connected with me, that came for the retreat in Serbia, actually continued. Uh, I was continuing working and helping people and communicating with them and uplifting them and giving all that I had, even if that is certain bhajans, music, where they can find certain things and whom to contact about something. I was there. And also being a Maitri practitioner and also global Maitri coordinator, I needed certain answers to have, and I was doing so many things that basically when I finally read the SOP for the Acharya, I was like, basically I'm doing this. I don't need this. I'm doing already this globally, uh, the way I want to do it, but I'm not in the front light. I'm like behind the desk, communicating with people, helping. So basically it is the same thing that I'm already doing, so I don't need it. It's just, I felt it. It's just another feather in the cap. And that will be again the people that will be pushing their first rows to be closest to Mohanji. And boy, I was wrong. um, uh, Basically, I was pushed by certain things in my life to apply to become a Mohanji Acharya, because certain things that I did in my life basically gave me the answer that this is something that I want to dedicate my life to. And Mohanji Acharya is another platform that will actually give me the opportunity to really not work just with the mighty practitioners, not just with the Kriya practitioners, not just with the people that come to Mohanji on their retreats, but also with the general public, and to do something more for the world, to give that value to the world as per my capacity, as per who I am and who I was. So I applied, um, and I was approved. Basically, I waited for 2 months for my approval, although the process was much more shorter, and also because it is two-step part, it was delayed so long that basically I had finally finished my complete application for Acharya. It took 3 months, but usually it was done in 2 weeks. So it was a funny story, but it took me really determination to really push for it and to really catch it. And I came to the also Acharya training with a thought that I will be learning all the things and needs and quotes and how to approach people and what to say to the people in certain situations. But basically, I didn't get anything that I was planning on getting. That I had my mindset. This is what it will be. It all my expectations just dropped in the water, and I was like, I'm so bored on the Acharya training for the first 2 days, because everything that was going on, basically, learned that in all of my years with Mohanji, being with Mohanji, reading his blogs, being on the satsang, being on the meditation. And I was like, I'm bored. Why am I going through all of this again? It's like basically from graduating school, I'm pushed into the first grade. And I was like frustrated. And that frustration was good for me because it taught me a lot of patience. Also, a lot of my comfort zones were broken. And also, I did a huge mistake, and it's good that I did it because it helped me reflect. I wanted to do a presentation about Maitri because this is something that I do. This is the field that I know the best. And then I choked. I didn't do it because what if I mess up, and what if I don't do it correctly, and what if I don't do it justice? And then I just did a presentation that was very easy. And this setback actually, a few months later, reflected in me. That is also my deep desire to giving back to the community, the LGBT community, because all the things that I learned, that deep acceptance of oneself, uh, techniques that we have to accept ourselves not as a just physical and psychical being, but also on our emotional and our spiritual level to really connect to ourselves is something that should be shared with every single person, and something that I have the ability and have the knowledge and have it in my hands to give it back. So that was the root why I didn't present Maitri on the Acharya training. And that is because I had that fear of what would happen and what if I'm not good enough. And again, another thing that we need to accept of ourselves. So basically, it took me, it gave me a beautiful uh, opportunity to reflect on myself. What is the root cause? Why I didn't do something? And it's basically this giving it back to the community and actually starting to do with the LGBT community and working with the people through a spiritual guidance and spiritual view of the situation and of the life.
Thank you so much, Dragan. You just touched upon the last question that I have for you, which is fantastic. I love it when I love it when people do that. So, as a acharya, what is your purpose? I know you want to give back to the LGBT community. So, if you want to share a little bit about your purpose as an acharya.
Well, my purpose as an acharya is basically living my own truth, living my own natural self, being who I am, the best version of myself, and constantly improving on that. And also by example, uh, giving the knowledge and um to the other people that they can see, like parents, like a child looking at their parents. I want to be that person that somebody will look upon on my life, the way I am, the way I behave, the way I approach certain things, to resonate with them and to see, oh, there is another path, there is another way that we can approach this. And that is very natural, that is very spontaneous, that will bring a lot of stability. So I want to be that beacon for so many people, not just the LGBT community, but also people around me, to be that positivity, to be that strength in life, to have it. There it is within us, that strength and that stability. So basically, I finally came to terms what I really want to focus on, and that is working with the LGBT community, and also working with the Mohanji Acharya and Mohanji family members and volunteers through Maitri, and also through being available for them to really ask questions, to be their support, and to be really there for the people. So basically, my goal of this life is actually to be that powerhouse in whose presence people will get the transformation. And basically, I have the powerhouse watching my back and giving all the grace and all the power to me. And that is the entire tradition and my Guru Mohanji. basically he's giving the power, he's giving the energy, and me, my presence will actually help people rise in the vibration and actually help them shed so many unnecessary burden that they have. And also through the techniques and through the platform that were given to us as an acharyas and all the people that are in Mohanji family, to help people arise out of their patterns, out of their comfort zones, and to really face with who they really are, to come back to themselves. Because um, when you're just there as a support, you can do so much. And just somebody who will listen to somebody, just to be there for people, just to ask questions. Go ahead, I'm here. I can answer. I have the answer. I have experiences of so many things. And basically, this was something that was brewing for quite some time. Even in our Acharya group, there was a lady that asked, "Oh, I'm having a situation with person that came out to his family and is in the relationship and having struggle. How can I communicate with this person without of pressing some buttons that are uncomfortable or um, subjects that were of how to say it, that was painful subject, to address them in the best possible light and in the best possible way. So I just wrote down the entire list, and I was like, oh, this is too long. I just sent her the personal message, and I just touch bases in a global group. So you do this, and these are the things that we have, that every single homosexual and LGBTIQ person went through uh, in accepting themselves on who they are. So these are the things that you have to understand, that are the way you should act. Don't act as it's something new. Accept it fully. It's perfectly natural. Whatever that person says, no matter how strange for you, just say, oh, good, and have a conversation about it. Be there, be a support. If you are confused about something, be a support. That person will give you the answers that you need. And even if you didn't understand something, just write it down and come back to me. I will explain it to you. Because there is a huge emotional baggage that every LGBTQ person is carrying with them. So this is something that I really am aspiring to do and to start doing. And um, so this is my, to say, first step of publicly talking to the Mohanji family about me being homosexual, although that is something that is already known from the first day everybody met me. They knew about it. I was completely out. I was completely comfortable speaking about it, giving answers and whatnot. But I was not ready to really go back to the community and um, talk to them about my journey of how I blossomed, how I grew out of all the problems, all the troubles, all of the hardship that I was carrying with me. So, beside the support group and the psychiatrists and psychologists, there is also the spiritual aspect that we all yearn for, and we really need that connection to that supreme something, to that divinity, to that higher self. So, I want to give that approach of the connecting to your divine self that every single one of us is, to bring it forward into the LGBTIQ community. It is something that is completely natural, is a part of us. It doesn't mean that you have to stop practicing certain things in life, but it means there is a huge bonus in your life to connecting to yourself and experiencing yourself and loving yourself fully. Uh, because we are all beautiful incarnation of divine light, but it is all covered with all of the emotions, all of the suppression, all of the things that we think we are and we should be. But basically, what we really should be is being natural, completely natural, and flow in life. When we are natural, the light just flows. It just happens and it just opens up and it blossoms. So this is something that I want to do, to give to the world. And basically, I also want to start this in my own country. And I will be writing with a Mohanji Foundation because of Serbia. Uh, and I just got so much support, and I was like surprised because I was so worried how will this reflect on the foundation and the mission and the platforms that we have. I was more worried about how will that affect to um, the entire platform that is Mohanji family, not how that will affect my life or will I be attacked or whatnot. I wasn't worried about myself. I was worried about the work of the other people that are representing Mohanji and that are representing this beautiful path of pathlessness, of coming back to yourself. So, and by having all of this beautiful affirmation and beautiful support from every single one of the acharyas that I have conversation with, and also having beautiful support from the my local Mohanji Foundation in Serbia was amazing, and I was like um, awestruck, and I was amazed of all the love and the support that I have in my life. And so basically, I have my spiritual family, and I want to introduce this beautiful family to also to the world outside, to the LGBT population, that we all can be family. So this is like something that I'm really uh, becoming more and more passionate and really finding myself delivering and giving myself to the world.
Thank you so much, Dragan. I think that your experience and your journey will inspire many more people, not just LGBT community, but others as well, to get the inspiration from your life journey. It was really very. I'm really happy to be a part of this conversation and get to know you much better than before. Thank you so much for joining us for this conversation today.
Well, thank you so much for doing this with me, because I saw so many acharyas just sitting in front and just giving their journey. But for me, uh, if you give me a topic to talk about, I can really spread myself. And sometimes I don't have that ability to really focus on what I want to say. So this really helped me. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to really talk with the two of you of my journey. We just skipped through it really fast, but I'm so happy if somebody can really learn from it and really take something with them. Basically, if nothing, just take with yourself, accept yourself uh, with accepting of who you are. You will start loving yourself, and with loving yourself and accepting yourself, you will actually reflect it into the world and will be able to accept everything around yourself as it is, because you will be stable and you will be certain of who you are, and you wouldn't be bothered if somebody else's uh, journey of life is not the same as yours. So
That's really great. Thank you so much for your time, and
you will
I
be perfectly okay, and you will.
thank you to all the viewers for joining us this evening to go through the journey of Dragan. I hope there was something good and there was something positive to take home when you all were listening to Dragan. Those of you are not aware about Mohanji Foundation, or if you have any questions related to LGBT community or the purpose on which Dragan is working on, please you can send us questions on Mohanji Acharya's Facebook page, or we also have Mohanji Facebook page, and you can visit mohanji.org for more details. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good day. Namaste.
Good night.
Good night.